Hello, and welcome to A Layman Looks at the Word with Hal Richardson. This week we're starting a new program, Faith Words and Science Facts. We know that God created all things by the words of His mouth. It starts in the beginning. God created the heavens and the earth. Everything that we are, everything that is, was created by the words of God's mouth. This includes the smallest particles that there are, which are atoms and all of their components. One of my favorite mentors, Charles Capps, once prophesied that some things that require faith to believe now will not require faith in the days to come, for it will eventually be proven to be scientific fact. Now, the Lord Himself told me that Charles Capps was, for his time, he's passed on now, but for his time, he was the greatest faith teacher around. Jesus of Nazareth proved the power of words of faith over and over again in the Gospels. He spoke to the dead and they became alive. Jesus spoke to the storm and it became calm. He spoke to the fish and they filled the nets of Peter and Andrew. But I believe one of the greatest examples of faith is recorded in Mark 11. Here Jesus was walking by a fig tree that should have had some buds to eat, but it had none. So He spoke to the tree, "No man will eat fruit from you hereafter forever." When Jesus and His disciples came back by the tree the next day, we see in verse 20 of Mark 11, "And in the morning as they passed by, they saw the fig tree dried up from the roots. And Peter, calling to remembrance, said unto Him, Master, behold, the fig tree which thou cursest is withered away. And Jesus answering said unto them, Have faith in God. For verily I say unto you, that whosoever shall say unto this mountain, Be thou removed, and be thou cast into the sea, and shall not doubt in his heart, but shall believe that those things which he saith shall come to pass, he shall have whatsoever he saith. Therefore I say unto you, what things soever you desire, when you pray, believe you receive them, and you shall have them." You notice in verse 23 that Jesus used the word say, or a form of it, 3 different times. So this faith that Jesus was teaching about only comes when spoken. Also, in the Young's literal translation, verse 22, where Jesus says, "Have faith in God," in the Young's literal translation, He says, "Have the faith of God." We know that in Genesis 1, God spoke everything into existence. In Hebrews 11:3, it says that the worlds were formed by the word of God and are made from things that are not visible. Solomon tells us in Proverbs that life and death are in the power of the tongue. That's Proverbs 18:21. And also that a wholesome tongue is a tree of life. Proverbs 15:4. In James, the 3rd chapter, it tells us that your tongue is like the reins of a bit on a horse, or the rudder on a ship, that determines your life's direction. But James also says it can start the fires of hell in your life when your tongue is used in a negative manner. I have taught many lessons on the power of the tongue. I know that my life has been blessed by saying God's promises and by calling things that are not as though they were. The Bible speaks of Abraham, who follows the faith of God. In Romans 4:17, as it is written, I have made thee a father of many nations, before him who he believed, even God, who quickeneth the dead, and calleth those things which be not, as though they were. So in different words, to call things that are not yet visible as though they were already here. Science and faith. So you say, where is the science in all this? Well, the science is quantum physics, also sometimes known as quantum mechanics. Now, I'm not a physicist, but I am a man of faith, and I know that the things of this planet are blessed or cursed by the words of my mouth or yours. Everything we see, or that is, was created by God's words, and these created things are subject to our words. This is at the smallest atomic level, which composes all matter. It is something how many things in science are proving biblical truth. Seems only right. Science is looking for the truth, and the Bible is the truth. You would think that they should agree on most things. But I can relate to Popeye's statement, I ain't no physicist, but I knows what matters. Quantum physics is the study of small atomic actions. The mystery is that small things and the actions of atoms that are observed to happen are at odds with how things operate in the real world and our understanding. Such is the paradox of the small and large scale of things. Yet we know that everything that is composed of atoms. The basic atomic structure is a nucleus composed of protons and neutrons that is orbited by electrons. Jesus taught us that if you have the faith of a mustard seed, you might say, well, this was the smallest seed around at that time. Today, he might have said, if you have the faith of an atom. In Luke 17:6, and the Lord said, if you had the faith as a grain of mustard seed, you might say to this sycamine tree, be you plucked up by the root, and be you planted in the sea, and it should obey you. In the quantum realm, there's a phenomenon known as entanglement. And this occurs when a pair or a group of particles is generated and interact or share spatial proximity in a way that's such that the quantum state of each particle of the pair or group cannot be described independently of the state of the others. Now that was from Wikipedia. This includes instantaneous correlation at great distance. So in layman's words, one does not do anything without affecting the other one, no matter how far apart they are. Einstein was a little troubled when this was found out because no matter how far apart those particles are, they affect one another instantaneously, which means that whatever connects them moves faster than the speed of light. that means it would be outside of his theory of relativity, because nothing can exceed the speed of light. Yet we see then in the quantum realm, some things do exceed that speed, especially when the particles are in entanglement. In God's realm, with the angels and the things that he has to do and move across this universe, things like the speed of light are exceeded or warped through, or something that we don't know anything about. But such it is out there. God made it all. He definitely knows how it all works. For us to understand God, his reason, his principles, his word, we have to come to know him. And that's only done through his Son, Jesus, who is the center of everything. He is the way and the truth and the life, and the only way to come to the Father is through him. This is Hal Richardson. If you don't know Jesus today, ask him into your life, and join me next time as we'll continue with faith words and science facts. Bye for now.